back again with another live fragrance review. And today, the review is going to be a review about the one of the most iconic, one of the most legendary, a true unicorn fragrance of time. Yes, we are not talking about a very usual fragrance. We are talking about a very unusual fragrance. And this fragrance is a gem of all the gems, is nothing less than, perhaps you guessed, or not yet, it's the greatest fragrance of all the time made for gentlemen. We are talking about Patou Pour Homme, the original Patou Pour Homme, released in 1980 by the house of JeanPatou, Paris. And who was the perfumer? The perfumer was Jean Kérelo. Is an amber fougere fragrance. Let's break down the notes. Top notes are clary sage, lavender, basil, black pepper, tarragon, also pimento seeds. Heart notes are patchouli, geranium, fir, cedarwood. Base notes are leather, civet, vanilla, tonka bean, sandalwood, and labdanum. Let's now talk about the accords. Main accords are aromatic, woody, also amber, animalic, leather, vanilla, warm and spicy, musky, earthy, and patchouli accords. So what I can tell you about this fragrance, this is the greatest fragrance of all time to my nose. And unfortunately, it has been discontinued by JeanPatou since long time ago, because as far as you know, it's very difficult to get JeanPatou fragrances nowadays, and are almost mission impossible. This fragrance discontinued around 1994 or 1995, and since then it became a kind of holy grail. For all the vintage fragrance lover, such as me or maybe such as you. Very tough to find, very expensive to find, because time to time you can score, you can find, but you have to really be ready to pay $500 or $600, and or even more, $700. So it's up to you if you are ready to pull the trigger. Some people are, some people are not. And this fragrance, it's the holy grail. Why? Because it's so well blended, so well composed by Jean Kérelo. It's musky, it's leathery, it's animalic, it's woodsy, it's dark, it's very, very dense, very potent. This fragrance is not a joke. This fragrance, it's a fragrance for a real gentleman, lean over a macho man, because this is not a fragrance for boys. This is a fragrance for mature guys of, let's say, above 30 and mature people who are sure of themselves. It's on the same ballpark as Derby by Guerlain, of Blend 30 by the House of Dunhill of London, which I reviewed already. I also reviewed previously the original Derby, and on the same ballpark also as another great fragrance which I love, which is a Corum by the house of Antonio Puig. So those are the fragrances that are very close to Patou Pour Homme, and we can say that even being inspired by Patou Pour Homme. The only difference is that Patou Pour Homme, it's the perfection in the bottle. Never been paired since Maybe the original Derby was on the same stand as Patou Pour Homme because it's a great fragrance too. Really a masterpiece. Sadly, all of them are gone. Only remaining in the game is Kurum, the new version, but it's still okay for the price. Come on, for $20. So what happened with Patou Pour Homme is very funny because in 2013, the JeanPatou, or the new owners of JeanPatou, they released a heritage collection. And in that heritage collection, they included Patou Pour Homme. And I already got that one. And to be very, very honest with you, I bought that one. And I am so disappointed that I never wore that Patou Pour Homme 2013. Is on my is on my collection, and I even reviewed that one, but nothing to do with the original Patou Pour Homme. This is a completely different fragrance, and somehow they call it Patou Pour Homme original. And I searched and I found out that the notes are different, and the new perfumer for that is Thomas Fontaine, and he said this is a new reinterpretation of Patou Pour Homme. Give us a break. Who are you to reinterpret a masterpiece? This fragrance never needed any reinterpretation. That was a perfection in the bottle. So they ruined completely the memory of Patou Pour Homme, and they replaced it with a very crappy fragrance that I don't even dare to call it Patou Pour Homme, because to me, there is only one Patou Pour Homme, and that one is the one you are seeing right now in this video. And what happened with Thomas Fontaine is I really want to meet this guy face to face. And I want to tell him, hey, nobody asked you to reinterpret the Patou Pour Homme original. This is a fooling, this is a crooked way of doing a business. It's like, for example, I'm telling you, I'm selling the best Earl Grey tea, and this is exactly the same Earl Grey that you buy from Fortune and Mason. And when you buy it, you just found out this is the cheapest and the lousiest Earl Grey you ever tasted. So this is the same thing, okay? So unfortunately, Patou Pour Homme, the original, the one we cherish, the one we love, is dead. I don't know, because I heard that LVMH bought the house of Patou, JeanPatou. So maybe they are going to re-release again their fragrances, and maybe they have a guts to release again the original Patou Pour Homme. I don't know. I cross my fingers. But for the moment, the house of Patou is dead. On the fragrance side is dead. They just make clothes. So what you can do, I'm sorry to say, I cannot tell you go and buy it. I can only tell you that if you are enough lucky, you might come across one day on Patou Pour Homme original. If you find it on the market, on the affordable price, buy it. If you have enough money and you are not concerned about spending lots of money, then you can pull the trigger. But beware of fakes, because there are many fakes nowadays in the market. Very, very well shaped bottles. Practically everybody think on the pictures that it's not fake, but it's fake. And the smell has nothing to do with the original Patou Pour Homme. So you have to be very sure of the seller and always ask for a sample before you pull the trigger. And even if you never been introduced to that fragrance, it's very hazardous because you don't know how it does smell. So you might get a crook. So I cannot advise you. It's very risky, because you have to spend a lot of money to buy the Patou Pour Homme and the vintage version. And finally, even the current version is now rare and getting to be very expensive, because the other day I saw on eBay was around $300, and I said, come on, $300 for that new version that smelled like a shampoo? Not me. I got one here. I don't want to wear it. It's just in the collection to have it and to talk about it. But it's the completely different voice. It's completely different music. Nothing to do with the original Patou Pour Homme, the masterpiece, the holy grail, the unicorn, crafted by the craftsmanship of Jean Kérelo. He was the official perfumer of JeanPatou. He done lots of great fragrances for the house of Patou, like Joy, like Supreme Moments, like even Patou Pour Homme Privé, or Patou JeanPatou Lacoste, which I'm going to review soon. So this also my friend in England got all of them. Rich Mitch, if you have a time. This guy, he really owns lots, and his collection is amazing. Amazing. I really admire his collection. So, what else we can tell you? We can tell you that sadly, this fragrance, this beauty in front of you is gone, and is gone forever. Or maybe LVMH group will give a second chance or a third chance for the rebirth of Patou Pour Homme. Just cross our fingers. I have a dozen of bottles of Patou Pour Homme. They are now in my wine cellar, kept at a very, very, very low temperature. I don't want to spoil them. I don't want to wear them. I just want to have them. This is a problem with the collector. When you become a collector, you become it's a kind of fine madness. So, well, I believe that in this world, some people are there to just harm the beauty. And Thomas Fontaine is one of those guys, because I cannot forgive that guy. He really crooked us. He reinterpreted Patou Pour Homme. Are you joking? You are a very, very average perfumer. And who gave you the right to do that? Who gave you the chance to do that? And this is a very, very, very funny story. Even the great houses such as Guerlain, since that Jean-Paul Guerlain left the house of Guerlain, I found that the house of Guerlain is not the same it used to be. And Thierry Vasser can't pair Jean-Paul Guerlain. I'm sorry to say, Thierry Vasser is a good perfumer, but he's an average perfumer. Jean-Paul Guerlain was a master perfumer, was exactly on the same stand as Jean Kérelo. So those guys are a master perfumer, and nobody can ever be again on the same stand as those fellers. Those were genius in their job. Those guys, they had a special craftsmanship. They had a special knowledge of in the perfumery. So unfortunately, now Patou Pour Homme is gone, and we are hunting. We are desperately searching. So I just wish you good luck. I hope that you are going to have a touchdown on this Patou Pour Homme. One day you are going to have your own Patou Pour Homme, but just know that wherever you find this gem, and if you have the possibility to pull the trigger, because it's hard to come across a masterpiece such as Patou Pour Homme twice in your life. That's my take on this wonderful fragrance released in 1980. To me, there are 3 or 4 fragrances that are on the same stand as Patou Pour Homme. Derby by Guerlain, the original. Patou Pour Homme. Also Blend 30 by the House of Downhill, discontinued also. And maybe, if I'm not wrong, the vintage version of Anatos by Chanel. And Pour Monsieur by Chanel. I would put those are my top 5. Those are the best releases for gentlemen, in my humble opinion. Of course, that's my view, that's my opinion. I just share it with you, and you can agree or disagree with me. Nevertheless, have a good day. I'll be back soon. Stay tuned. Stay sound and safe. And God bless you all. Until we talk again, cheerio.